We can already see, of course, NGOs are pushing this agenda, but I can also see that the financial community is now starting to raise the bar and require companies that they invest in to have a proper attempt to do some work in the sustainability area.
I'm Bill Weir in Greenland, and this is CNN.
A springtime Davos, and the stakes could hardly be higher. How those attending the World Economic Forum are dealing with Europe's crises. Hello and welcome to Marketplace Europe from the World Economic Forum in Davos. From the moment we arrived, it was obvious things this year would be different. Well, for instance, there's no snow to begin with. But that was only the start, because wherever we looked and whatever was being discussed, the sense of crisis was real and the differences were everywhere. We all know the drill at Davos: snow, ski lifts, and sub-zero conditions. It's a regular rhythm for tackling the regular economic themes. In 2022, though, things changed. After 2 years of COVID cancellations, this annual summit was moved to May for the first and only time. There's green grass on the mountains, and instead of snow, mostly rain. It's warmer, but not much brighter, and the economic agenda is as confused and as irregular as this late spring weather. There's the historic inflation hitting consumers and companies alike. There's the war in Ukraine with the fallout it's bringing, economic and geopolitical. Some analysts are predicting recession. Yet executives here are still hopeful. For the chairman of Publicis, the French PR and advertising firm, it's a huge conundrum.
Most of our clients are mostly still optimistic. And there are some areas where there are some issues, obviously, particularly when there is some issues of supply chain. But there is a kind of dichotomy between the real economy that we are witnessing, be it on the consumer behavior or the optimism of the CEOs or the board. And on the other hand, there is the stock market, which is in a free fall, at least for the tech companies, and also the noise that we are hearing regarding either recession, which is coming, or inflation, which is going up. And there is this situation which is a little bit strange, because there is no convergence between what we are hearing and what we are seeing in the market.
Is it that the market and these other events are merely ahead, and all this optimism is about to get a clout on the head?
Personally, more on the optimistic sides as an individual. However, there are some aspects which will lead to some kind of deceleration, but I don't see a recession. I may be wrong, but I don't see a recession coming.
So much, of course, is dependent upon the war.
Obviously.
And I'm wondering, as you look at that from your point of view, the awfulness is a given, but what happens next? This rethinking of every aspect of values that you and I have grown up and lived with, and are now having to rethink.
We are changing the way we are looking at business. In the good old days, business means business, period. Today, business means values. So you cannot do business without taking into account values. And that's the reason why we have decided to pull off from Russia. There was no reason to do it from a war point of view, because our country is not in war with Russia. But from a human and a value point of view, we couldn't stay there.
It's not only businesses having to rethink strategies. Germany's Chancellor says the world is at a turning point as it redefines its relationship with Russia. The chief executive of Volkswagen told Julia Chatterley things are moving faster than anyone predicted.
It's definitely a structural break. No, nobody expected, I didn't expect until the last day that Putin would do that. And so this is a structural break, and it makes us rethink. But I would say the first reaction is always, okay, we have to become self-sufficient. We have to go back into, let's say, our fortresses. And I think that doesn't help. That's probably a short-term solution, but long-term, it's very bad for the world.
My sense on this government is it's moving dramatically. And the finance minister said to me, look, it took us 2 decades to build an airport in Berlin. He said, and we are going to change our entire energy complex in 1 year. And I was like, good point. Those kind of decisions, those policy decisions are tough. It's not always easy to make the right decisions swiftly, ramping up LNG capacity, leasing floating LNG tanks.
Even LNG has two sides. No?
Of course it does, particularly if we're trying to move to a cleaner world.
Absolutely.
Are you talking to the government and saying, guys, you're a titan of business? Are you saying, are we thinking this through?
I think all in all they're doing really a great job, and you have to imagine this trade-offs they have to consider. No,
yeah,
let's
they
say
do.
Well-being, and I think they are.
You recognise the challenges.
It's very difficult
Yeah,
to criticize from the outside. They know many things probably in more detail than we are doing, and you have to deal with this situation. And some of the decisions might be wrong at the long term, no, but you have to decide.
Next year's Davos will be back in January in the winter snows. Until then, whatever the weather, it's going to be a slow slog up the mountain ahead. The message from Davos: the world is at an historic turning point. After the break, the chief executive of Solvay.
Egypt is developing a sustainable and inclusive transportation network to improve mobility across the country. By ensuring affordability and accessibility to public transport systems, and reducing carbon emissions. It is responsibly connecting communities like never before.
Coronavirus. To get daily news updates in your inbox, sign up for the CNN newsletter. Coronavirus. Fact versus fiction.
Monday, lift every voice. Khalid, Shaka Khan, Yolanda Adams, Neo, Mickey Guyton, Earth, Wind & Fire, and so much more. Juneteenth, a global celebration for freedom. Live from the Hollywood Bowl, only on CNN.
With so many overlapping global crises, perhaps the temptation is to put issues like diversity, sustainability, the environment on the back burner. That is not an option for Ilham Kadri. She's the chief executive of Solvay, the $10 billion Belgian chemical company. She believes diversity must remain at the core, as she told Julia Chatterley.
When I joined Solvay 3 years ago, we launched what we call Solvay One Planet. But it was not only about the climate. Of course, we are tackling the greenhouse gas emission and our journey to decarbonization, but also resources like water, which is scarce. But the better life, the people. And the people is about also diversity, equality, and inclusion. I've been in the industry for 25 years, always failed in DE&I. Because when I leave the company, you know, it's not there, it's not sticky. And you know, diversity, the good people, they leave you first if you are not inclusive and you don't listen to them. So I'm putting the I before the D now, the inclusion first, and we launch what we call Solvay One Dignity, putting dignity at the heart of everything we do. Equality is important. We just published the wages gap between men and women. Can you believe it?
Well, how bad is it?
It's not good, except that in Belgium, without my salary, because I'm in Belgium, women are paid more than men. But it's an anecdote. It's an anecdote. So we need to dare being transparent and just work on closing the gap.
I mean, you're at the cutting edge of all the challenges that we've talked about here in Davos. this time around, be it inflation, be it commodity price inflation, be it the challenge of addressing all those short-term issues, but also keep pushing for the goals in terms of the planet, sustainability. How much do shareholders really care about sustainability when they start to see margins slip? Because you're doing okay, you're sort of passing price increases on, you're raising your forecasts. When does that balance slip?
Well, I'm first believer that you have to do both. Sustainability and the big A&D profitability. It's not against each other. I'm not running a charity organization. And believe me, I've been in a roadshow in the US just a week ago. There was not one single meeting with our shareholders where we didn't talk about the ESG and Solvay One Planet and what we've done since 3 years. And when I joined Solvay, we were not aligned with Paris. Since 3 years, we did almost double Paris profitably with a return above 15%. Our carbon pricing internally, globally, is €100 per ton, where there is no carbon pricing, a federal one in the US, as you know.
I mean, this is a critical point, I think. If all those conversations are involving this now, is that because you see it as a risk to the business?
You will not survive. You will have, you know, the Kodak moments. You will disappear. No, I truly believe that, first of all, you do it because there is a tone at the top. You are a believer. Sustainability started in my home when I grew up in Morocco with scarcity of resources around me. So I'm frugal. I'm frugal with the resources inside my company, right? Second, because we are an employer. Look at the youth. They want to join companies with a purpose, right? They want to see what you're going to do. And frankly, because I'm a mom and I want to deliver and, you know, leave a planet better than the one I'm getting. But it's not easy, yeah? Specifically the chemical industry, we are branded as part of the problem, but we are part of the solution.
Well, you can be part of the solution.
Of course. We are in electrification, lightweighting, in your bio shampoo, right? So all of this, the chemical industry is the mother of all industries.
Did you ever believe you'd be the CEO of a massive chemicals company?
No.
What would you go back and say to that young woman in that lab coat, in that lab, about shortening, and you're very young, but shortening the journey from there to here?
Oh, I will not change anything. I will tell her, continue believing in your dreams, right? Be passionate. By the way, the destination was not that much important to me. The journey was more important than the destination.
And that's Marketplace Europe for this month. Interestingly, Davos has already announced that in 2023, we will be back in January and the snow, which is pretty much what we discovered when we asked people here on the whiteboard. More people said they preferred Davos in the winter and the snow than the spring. So we'll be back in the cold next year. Until the next Marketplace Europe, I'm Richard Quest, and whatever you're up to, I hope it's profitable.
Almost all carbon emissions come from industries that shape our world. But at Standard Chartered, we believe progress doesn't have to cost our planet. That's why we're mobilizing $300 billion to help our clients change the way they operate, accelerating the transition to a net zero world. Because where others see problems, we see potential. We're Standard Chartered, and we're here for good.
Egypt is diversifying its energy mix and extending its pioneering strategy to every part of the country. Through working in partnerships, Egypt aims to provide 42% of its electricity from renewable energy by 2035. The country is successfully transitioning to more sustainable sources, creating green jobs, and powering a more sustainable future.
Have you heard it like this?
Let's untangle the players and political forces.
Fast-paced news from the perspective of The Global Brief with Bianca Nobilo. Weeknights on CNN.
From digital banking to biometric payments, innovation and technology in the world of finance. Coming up on Marketplace Middle East, new ways to do business in the region. We explore the future of commerce and the impact of new technologies on the way we shop, pay, and are paid. Welcome to Marketplace Middle East. I'm Eleni Jokas, and this month I come to you from the iconic Dubai International Financial Center. Nearly 2 decades old, the DIFC is testament to the fact that Dubai has positioned itself as a leading financial hub for the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. Now the region is looking ahead to the next 20 years. According to the Middle East Institute, the future lies in fintech. Growing 30% annually, the sector is expected to raise over $2 billion in venture capital funding this year alone. With almost half the population in the region under the age of 25, the push for a digital-first solution in finance will only continue to surge. And Jody Wall, the head of banking and finance at Al-Tamimi & Company, tells me why. Why do you think the region fell behind within the fintech space when you look at it, comparatively speaking, to other sectors that really have technology at the heart of what they do?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question, but I think when you look at the region, you know, if you look at today, there's been various fintech hives, been various initiatives to help grow homegrown technology, fintech solutions and so on. The banks themselves have adopted technology. So potentially slower than other parts of the world, but you know, there's been a keen interest in technology and how that can help the banking sector. I've been here for a long time, and probably the change over the last 2 years has exceeded the change I experienced over the last 15. And I think that the speed and the paradigm shift in terms of financial services will continue over the next 2 to 3 years.
While the DIFC is a leading financial hub here in the UAE, innovation and technology in finance are thriving across the Middle East. Now in Bahrain, I caught up with a woman that's leading the charge at the Al-Waha Fund to see how they are turning venture capital on its head.
Tell me a little bit about what's happening now with the first fintech fund.
So ultimately, it's going to feed into this transformational change that we're experiencing right now in fintech.
Part of Arij Al-Shaka's routine is to see how well innovative startups are performing across the Middle East. She heads up the Al-Waha Fund of Funds, a fund that provides backing to other funds in the region, people who are closer to the businesses that need support.
Our problem when we first started in 2018.
People with great ideas, but no money.
Absolutely. But I think now there is access to capital. And so now we have great startups, great ideas, and now they get to choose who they want to fund.
Last year, venture capital funding reached more than $2.5 billion in the Middle East and North Africa. It's the highest number the region has ever seen, more than double from 2020, with a growth of 138%. And out of all the deals closed in the region last year, a third were in fintech and e-commerce. From Bahrain to the UAE, one of the companies that the Al-Waha Fund of Funds backs is VentureSouk in Dubai. VentureSouk created the MENA region's first fund that specializes in fintech. This fund now has $50 million from Al-Waha and other backers to work with early-stage startups in the digital sector, focusing on everything from payment platforms to personal finance management to banking. The ultimate goal, to ensure the region makes its mark on the fintech space globally.
The regional in general is going through this fundamental shift, and underpinning that shift is fintech. So we're investing globally. Let us take what we've learned from investing into other places in the world, and let's apply that to what's going on in MENA.
While some fintech hubs are emerging in the region, such as in Riyadh, in Tel Aviv, and Dubai, according to the Global FinTech Index, most cities in the Middle East and North Africa are still not part of the world's top fintech ecosystems. But for Kadumi, cooperation is the key to success.
We're in a region divided into 20 different countries that all have their own rules and regulations. And so to build a product and a service that can apply realistically to someone in Algeria and someone in Qatar at the same time is a challenge. If we don't move more and more in the direction of a unified economic market, then it's going to be hard for us to get mega outcomes.
And Al-Shaka agrees, connecting the region one fund at a time.
We're seeing a lot more VCs that are now trying to be set up that are not just focused on Bahrain, but also the eastern province of Saudi Arabia and the wider region. The funds that we invest in, they always say when you back a fund or a company, it's not just for one country or another, but it's actually for the wider GCC.
Fintech may be a buzzword for many across the globe, but in the Middle East, some players are determined it's here to stay, making way to the future of finance.
Thanks for your time, Marie.
Thanks. Okay, take care. Bye. Bye.
An interesting venture coming out of the island nation of Bahrain. Coming up, how the adoption of digital banking went into overdrive during a global pandemic.
Blueprint, in association with Qatar Airways.
The contents of this bottle may be helping airlines reduce their carbon footprint. It's called SAF, or Sustainable Aviation Fuel, a type of biofuel primarily from waste and residues like used cooking oil. Neste, a Finnish oil refinery, has been manufacturing SAF for more than 10 years. Neste says they clean the oil by placing it in a biorefinery to remove impurities. As of now, most planes are not yet ready to operate fully on biofuel.
It has to be blended with fossil product when it's going into the aircraft. But SAF one day will be completely replacing fossil.
SAF has helped power more than 370,000 commercial flights since 2016, a significant step towards the industry's goal of net zero emissions by 2050.
Blueprint, in association with Qatar Airways.
Welcome back to Marketplace Middle East. Around the world, online banking and fintech are a mainstay in people's lives, but here in the Gulf, cash is still king. Now, a recent poll shows that 89% of respondents here would much rather opt for online banking services as opposed to going into a physical bank. I caught up with the country manager of Citigroup Bahrain, Michelle Sawaya, who says that the pandemic over the past 2 years sped up the adoption of online banking. The future of the financial industry, I guess that's what everyone is trying to figure out. What's the future of banks' roles?
This is a very, very big question. In fact, if you look at what COVID has done, it has sped up the pace and acceleration of digital economies. Everybody has increased the pace of digitization of their businesses, of their efficiency, and so forth.
You're seeing competition rising between countries, and it's interesting. Do you see this as a good thing because you're a banker and you're just going to sit back and enjoy the games?
Actually, I truly believe this is a good thing. I think one country's development, one country's push, like you say, should not take from another country. Countries can be complementary to each other.
Back here in Dubai, Visa recently opened its regional headquarters, serving 90 markets. And at the heart of it all is this fascinating innovation center that has incredible technology that has the potential to transform our lives and then, importantly, make my shopping a lot easier. But this innovation hub is not just about shopping. Okay, this is the Innovation Center, right?
Indeed, where the magic happens. So what you're going to be going through now is an experience zone built with the end user's journey in mind.
Akshay Chopra heads the Innovation Center at Visa's newly opened regional headquarters in Dubai. I'm taking a seat. This is for me.
This is all yours.
Thank you very much. Overseeing 90 markets from Europe to Asia.
You can take any surface like a bus stop, a metro station, turn it into a well-stocked retail store.
And let's just say, it's pretty cool. turning everyday bores and chores into a digital delight. This is actually a really good first take, don't you think? Add to cart. Fantastic.
We want to make it easier for people to pay, get paid. We work with governments, with fintechs, with banks, with merchants of all shapes and sizes to help build payment experiences that are more convenient, more seamless, and more secure.
In a region where cash is king, Akshay says the global pandemic accelerated the move to digital.
Actually, the pandemic has done a tremendous work in changing people's perceptions about digital payments. If you look at Saudi, we saw 94% of our payments there are contactless. Contactless is in general a lot safer in addition to being more hygienic. And so this trend has actually changed payments forever. People are much more used to just tap and go than they were ever before.
And the next step to onboard small businesses, from the baker to the souk or market owner. I want this spice mix, please.
This is the backbone for the global economy. But unfortunately, a lot of the small businesses are often left out of the latest in digital, right? And they're the ones who need it the most.
How is that going to transform the industry here in the Middle East once you start to work more extensively with smaller merchants?
I think it's going to digitize the economy to a much greater extent than we have now. And I think that bringing those people into the economy, the formal digital economy, is going to make them more productive, more efficient, and it's going to make the whole system a lot more transparent.
High-tech digital payments and biometrics, changing the way we do business and the future of finance.
Payment goes through.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Yay! Great stuff. Waiting for my drone delivery. Well, that's it for this edition of Marketplace Middle East. You can head to our website for more insight into the stories we've been covering. From me, Eleni Jakas, here in Dubai, I'll see you next time.
Yolanda Adams, Earth, Wind & Fire, and so much more. Juneteenth, a global celebration for freedom, live from the Hollywood Bowl, only on CNN.
Our mission here at CNN. The news comes first.
More breaking news that we are following right now. Welcome to the Situation Room. We have breaking news.
I'm Hadas Gold in Jerusalem, and this is CNN.
African Voices Changemakers, in association with Glow Unlimited.
Welcome to African Voices. I'm Ari Topo. This week, we'll introduce you to a change-making artist from Mozambique who is using objects of war to promote peace.
The way I'm working, it look like I'm right store. This is a bullet for K47 bullets. This is mortar. This is helmet from the military. I use art to change the way people think about art. I'm Gonzalo Mabunda from Mozambique. I am a change maker. This piece talk about the boss. The boss is here. It's not the same like that. This is like great boss. It's not the political one. It's a big boss.
For Gonzalo Mabunda, art is freedom.
It's important to create, be you. We show the things come from inside of you. That is the important to create. Because when you create, you get free.
And sometimes inspiration comes from some of life's most traumatic experiences, like war.
During the war, we had a lot of stories. And for example, our neighbor is being killed, and this affects you, even not your direct family, but it's someone who already knows and be killed in the war.
Gonzalo was born in Maputo in 1975, right at the dawn of the Mozambican Civil War. Now, old rusty armaments from the 15-year-long conflict have become Gonzalo's raw material.
We never think the weapons can be art, and we do it. Something you make for kill, we destroy it, we make art.
In his repertoire, sculptures, mosques, crucifixes and thrones, one of which went to the Vatican to commemorate 10 years since the end of the conflict.
We showed the Pope, and Pope was really loved. And then he would say, these things come from Mozambican artists, and he put us on the stage. It was really interesting.
Gonzalo's art process starts here, in the scrapyard.
We're in a scrap. It's my favorite place. I love it. It's one of the best. Africa is everything. The problem with Africa, they'll be colonized 500 years. It's too much. And today, we work. When we work, that's why they create all this world for us. Because they don't want us to grow. But we're gonna grow. Because this is our Africa. It's our continent.
This awakening creativity grows further with every mindful step across the field.
You see, this is still dangerous, but this is okay. It's off.
Gonzalo's work with shells and weapons began with a project called Transforming Arms into Hoes, launched in 1995 by the Christian Council of Mozambique. In an effort to reduce the proliferation of weapons after the war, people were able to exchange machine guns, grenades and ammunition for food, sewing machines and bicycles. Instead, Gonzalo began to weld them to create his message of non-violence.
My first piece I call Innocent Travel, and I make it a big motto, and my idea when I make this motto, I was trying to use all different weapons that the Christian Council of Mozambique bring for us. And after Civil War, everything still sad when they give you this kind of material. It take time to be happy, And I was look for something more representative for me. And the things I was looking for, say, what am I gonna make? And I make those big motorbike, I call Innocent Travel. He say, okay, I want to travel my motor to see if really we're in peace. From Maputo to Cabo Delgado, you know? And this was a challenge.
The results are rugged yet gentle, juxtaposing twisted metal objects with intimate life experiences.
This inspiration, it's my boys, you know? I have twins. This, I'm talking about the twins, for example, everything's come two. This is my city, this is my people, eh? I love it.
Up next, from the junkyard to the gallery, we explore how Mozambique became a famous contemporary art hub, embracing more of Gonçalo's achievements.
₦20,000 for free. 20,000 naira bonus. Is your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
I'm reconnected.
Because we've all reconnected. And it's simple. Dial *109# and link your NIN to your new or existing Glow number. Get up to 20,000 naira for free with Glow.
20,000 naira bonus free.
Yes, sir, free.
Niger, what are you waiting for?
We share this place. We all belong.
My name is Khadija Behzad. I'm the founder and CEO of Meet the Locals. Meet the Locals is a social Emirati tourism company. We are specialized in Emirati culture. We design and deliver authentic Emirati experiences. I noticed that many visitors are coming to the UAE and they are visiting the different attractions and they are leaving without getting the chance of meeting local people. We as locals or Emiratis in the UAE, we are only 10 to 11% of the total population. Locals can give deeper information about the culture, so tourists will get the information from the source. It's important for us to create such programs in order to interact with expats, whether they are tourists or residents.
When I create art, I'm feeling so happy, you know, because I'm thinking I'm doing something interesting.
From the streets of Maputo to world-renowned galleries, Gonçalo Mabunda's work continues to elevate Mozambique's art culture.
This is Nuclear Dart.
It all began right here, at one of Maputo's most recognized artist cooperatives.
This place, all big artists come from here. They start here, they grow up here, and Malangatana, Shisano. It's a big store place. I have a lot of respect of this place. My journey to art is big way. I was not supposed to be artist. It just happened.
His teenage years were mostly spent sweeping the gallery floor, occasionally helping local artists curate exhibits.
I worked many years in this table.
But it's behind the gallery where talent is forged. Many Mozambican artists had similar beginnings.
Shisano was one of the best artists for me. It was my inspiration because it was a strong artist. It started there and be one of the best artists in Mozambique. And this was amazing. When he was alive, he was working with wood. He teach a lot of Mozambican artists work with wood. But he learned there at Nuclear Dart. Hey, come here. This is Tiger.
The eclectic Rastafari vibe attracted artists from all over the world after the war ended in 1992.
And then they invited a lot of different artists for different countries. And one of the artists was South African artist named Andries Botha. Yes, it's my meditation. And I come here, I play, we draw.
Visual artist and sculptor Andres Bota saw Gonzalo's potential.
When he finished the workshop and he go to my boss, he said, hey, ask him if you want. I want to take him to train more because I think he has talent. I want to take him to Durban, take him to Konatar, to teach him a little bit more. I think he has talent. I was 18, I was young. This is my first passport when I start to go to Europe. The first was South Africa and then Europe.
Andres played a pivotal role in boosting his confidence and nurturing his artistic development as a sculptor.
And he came to me and said, Gonzalo, here now you're not my assistant. It's your own work. Just do it. And I start like that. Come with me, we go to my studio where I save my work.
Mabunda's critically acclaimed work has been featured at the Mori Art Museum in Tokyo, the Centre Pompidou in Paris, and Bilbao's Guggenheim Museum in Spain. His totem-like sculptures were the first exhibit ever by a Mozambican artist at the Venice Biennale in 2015.
I love to create harmony. This is the harmony. I'm not looking for special things to do my work. You can see this is like clothes, it's a scrap, and this is a military material. I'm saying something very, very strong, but at the same time, it's funny.
He's also developed a strong partnership with the Jack Bell Gallery in London, where these sculptures were headed.
My exhibition in London is about my work, my store, because the way I'm work, it look like I'm right store, you know? For example, okay, the people when they saw me, they look, I have very political art. I don't know, it's the way you see it, but I'm just make art and give my opinion. My idea is to give opinion.
Gonzalo Mabunda is now a household name in his country, and he's working on propping up the next generation of Mozambican artists.
The same things happen with me. I would like to give them. I would like to make the same.
His next big project, he hopes, will soar in the outskirts of the capital city. A museum bearing his son's names to hold all past and future creations, to further spread his message in hopes that war will never rise again.
The best thing is to destroy the weapons. When I'm destroying the weapon, I feel so happy. Next, I want to make big collection, make my museum, and give a good life for my boys, and help another artist. No, it's important to me because I don't want just be me. It's like I'm so happy, guy, because I have this opportunity to do what I'm doing. I'm blessed to do these things.
Get a Glow SIM today and enjoy 1,000 Naira sign-on bonus for voice and data. All new and existing Glow subscribers also get 10 times the value of their every recharge, plus up to double their data recharge as bonus. All Glow subscribers also get up to free 20,000 Naira bonus for voice and data.
On the next Living Golf, discover the history of the sport in Sweden. How do they keep producing some of the world's best golfers? Hear from rising stars.
I think it's just more fun when a Swede wins.
Then visit the region's flagship event, the Scandinavian Mixed, and sit down with Europe's next Ryder Cup captain, Henrik Stenson.
This is where it all started for me.
Living Golf, tonight on CNN, in association with Gulf Saudi.
No holds barred.
Out front tonight, hypocrite in chief.
No nonsense.
How stupid do you think we are?
Because getting to the truth matters. Aaron Burnett out front, Tuesday to Saturday on CNN.
Modern and contemporary art is attracting a whole new audience. we caught up with a Congolese mixed media artist whose work is crossing borders and changing perceptions around the world.
It's springtime, and an art gallery in central London has been given a dramatic makeover. The artist responsible for the transformation? Congolese artist Joy Yamusangi.
As soon as you walk into the space, the main colors like red, yellow, black. I mean, I love like red, yellow, blue, like the primary colors basically. Probably just comes from like being Congolese. It's very much like connected in everything that I do. So because my work is about myself, my life, my identity, everything that I do, it's like very much like a diary in a way. I'm an artist and I make drawings and paintings and illustrations all about feeling good. I'm Joy Yamusangi and I'm a change maker.
It's the night of the exhibition launch and the stage is set. London's artistic community are coming to see these paintings portraying a jazz club, but they also get to be a part of one.
It's about a fictional jazz club, all the things that happen inside and outside of it. It's the fights, the drama, the music. It is about feeling good, feeling great, feeling confident.
In this club, the star of the show is the art hanging on the walls.
So this painting is called Feeling Good. When I think of this painting, it's like the focal point of the whole entire exhibition, and all the other artworks kind of like surround it.
People and faces bring the venue to life.
So this piece is called A New Love. In the setting of the club, it's like the lovers, the people on the first date, like tucked away in the corner of like this like moody jazz bar. I wanted to like capture the feeling of love and joy.
But there's one particular face that we see more than others.
I'm present in quite a few of the pieces. It's about my life, so a lot of the conversations are things that I've had with friends or family, or just like self-portraits of myself. But I like that many people can see themselves in it, and that it can reflect a community in that way.
Joy, who identifies as non-binary, strives for their work to be social. But this immersive exhibition came from a time when personal connections had to be imagined.
During the lockdowns, I think I really kind of missed like going out, listening to music, all of that kind of stuff. It kind of made me also feel like I wish I'd done that more and enjoyed like a lot of like the nightlife spaces that we have here. So yeah, like imagining the space of what it would be, it was like born in that moment. And I even thought, oh, it would be so cool if I just like restarted my whole entire career and just like open up an actual jazz club instead of doing the art. So this is like meeting in the middle of those two dreams.
Dreams become reality in this fictional club, none less than the reimagination of one of the jazz world's most legendary fictional characters.
I've got like so many different like sources of inspiration. It's like, but the main one was that I read the book Trumpet by Jackie Kay, and the main character in that was called Joss Moody, who's like a trans trumpet player. And that story was then based on the real life story of Billy Tipton, who was a trans piano player, also a saxophone player as well. Both of their stories combined, as well as the fact that I'd just like gotten really into like jazz music. Also like my Congolese culture. I really like the style of like Congolese dandies. So that has all seeped into the themes of the show, the outfits of the show, everything about the show.
The gallery is full of life, and for just one night, this fictional jazz club becomes, you guessed it, a real one. It's showtime.
There'll be all kinds of music on the opening night to really like bring the space to life, because it's a jazz club. It would be really weird if it was just like completely silent. So yeah, music is a massive part of it.
Thank you very much.
Throughout Joy's life, color and culture have been one and the same.
When I look back at like family photos, everybody's fully dressed in just color. Like everyone loves like clashing colors, mixing colors, like you don't exceed more than 3. It's like, I don't know, I've always been drawn to color in that way, but then I like how it sits against black. So yeah, I come back to the same colors, but I like the idea of like just keeping it really like a really simple palette.
Joy's artistic style lies in their ability to turn people into distinctive characters. Find out next how they discover and recreate those characters.
20,000 naira for free. 20,000 naira bonus.
Is your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
I'm reconnected.
Because we've all reconnected. And it's simple, simple. Dial *109# and link your NIN to your new or existing Glow number. Get up to 20,000 naira for free with Glow.
20,000 naira bonus free.
Yes, sir. Free.
Nigel, what are you waiting for?
On Mission Ahead, a new spin on launching spacecraft into orbit.
As a species, I think we just always look up and we say, well, that's the next frontier.
Then, could this new zero-emission boat be the Tesla of the sea? Plus, preparing for the future, are cities that float the answer?
On water, buildings don't have to be static.
Meet the entrepreneurs and inventors who are taking mobility to the next level.
Mission Ahead, Saturday on CNN, in association with Fujifilm.
Whether it's a jazz club or the quirky characters that fill it, Joy Yamusangi makes art that embraces self-expression and freedom of form. That's just as well, because the Congolese artist still hasn't fully settled on a favorite artistic medium.
I like working with a whole range of materials and mediums. I love like printmaking, I love like digital work, painting, ceramics, like film work, absolutely everything. And so I like the idea of like combining all these different things that I've learned and making something completely new. I like the act of like learning a new medium, something that's like slightly out of my comfort zone. And there's some things that I keep coming back to, like painting and drawing, like that's like the foundation of my work.
The colors and culture of the Democratic Republic of Congo inspire much of Joy's art. And while its presentation may be ephemeral, Joy says the people it portrays are usually real. That's why you might find Joy somewhere like this cafe in East London. Sitting in the corner in search of interesting faces and personalities to recreate.
So some days I do wake up and I don't have the inspiration there. I think what works for me is to go out the house, hang out with friends, go to exhibitions. Those kind of things are what inspire me. So even with like the artworks in this piece, there's conversations like between friends, conversations I've had with my family members, and that I wouldn't have thought that would make it into artworks, but just from hanging out, that's inspired me.
And when inspiration strikes, a good artist is always ready, pen in hand.
I always bring my sketchbook with me for drawing like little thumbnails, and just see what happens really. I like to draw people, shapes, things that are around things that I find interesting. They don't always look realistic because my style is like more illustration style. My favorite kind of people to draw are probably ones that just have like interesting hairstyles. Like I really like drawing like long hair, braids, cane rows, mostly from like the profile side. I think that is quite interesting.
It's an interpretation of people that comes from a knack for observation and a well-heeled